Okay, hello. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Seller Summit. It's hot here. I'm in Texas. It is hot. So, in any case, what I wanted to do is we are going to talk about strategies to help you fire your boss. Now, the irony is right now, there's a significant number of people that are unemployed. So, I'm going to be sprinkling in the middle of this discussions about how to handle that current situation. So wanted to make you aware that I'm going to mention that, and we'll go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Maybe my computer's All right. So our topic today is how to, let me make sure I'm recording, I am, how to launch, build, grow, scale your business so you can fire your boss. Some of you have already lost your jobs, so we're going to talk about how you can pivot or either use e-commerce to help you cover your expenses. Okay? All right, so when you're thinking about launching your business, there's a few things that you got to do, launching and building your business. One, you do have to get educated. You got to get educated about, and I'm about to sneeze, sorry. You got to get educated about e-commerce and what type of platforms there are to sell on, what platform you want to sell on, what method of e-commerce you want to do. You have to do a little bit of research. You can join a group and get that, help get that research like expedited. You can watch YouTube videos. You can decide. But there's so many different ways in which to do e-commerce, so there's not one way that's any better than another. There are some that are more expensive, some that are a little less expensive, but there are many ways in which to do e-commerce. So we're going to talk about a few. We're not going to cover all of them, but we're going to cover a few to kind of give you a little bit of flavor about things to think about and how you could potentially proceed, get educated, get informed about this process. Next, I want you to get organized and get established. For some of you, depending on which method of e-commerce you're going to be doing, you got to get established. You can start an account on Amazon and eBay and many other platforms without having an LLC, without having an EIN. You can be a sole proprietor. After a certain income level, then they want you to be established. So you need to do that research and to get educated, and then you need to begin the process of getting yourself organized. If your goal at the end of this, if your end game is to fire your boss, then you definitely want to eventually get organized. And that would include also getting like a reseller's license with your state comptroller. So you need to look into that so that you don't have any challenges later on, but keep that information top of mind, get organized, especially with taxes, all of that stuff. Just get yourself ready, get some kind of bookkeeping system in place and get organized. So one of the quick strategies that I recommend, and I'm just going to name it real quick, is I tell people when they first get started that one of the things that they can do to help themselves, because there's going to be potential transactions that you're not really thinking about. And so to keep all of your bookkeeping together, to keep it organized and structured, one of the things I recommend is that you create maybe a Gmail account that is one for your business operations and one for taxes. So you can name it your name. So, NecholeBusiness@gmail.com, and then one that's Nechole tax@gmail.com. Whenever there's any transactions, whether you're doing wholesale or private label, whether you are communicating with a prep center, or whether you're buying something at a store, you can, or ordering something online, you can have all your transactions go to your business account. Anything that's involving money, all of your communication go to your business account. Anything that's involving money, then forward those every single time you have them or get them. Forward those to NecholeTax@gmail.com. At the end of the month or the end of the year, all your transactions, all your reconciliation, all of your reports from that platform, you can email them all each month, each week to NecholeTax@gmail.com. That way, you'll have a record of all of those things, and that will make it easier for you to reconcile with your accountant But if you do that, again, it's going to streamline. So when I say get organized, think about business operations. If you're not informed enough about business operations, then go do a little bit of research. Small Business Administration has some great tools and research. You know, your public library may be holding some local workshops, but just kind of get organized. Because if this is your long game, you want to set this up right. You don't want to build a house on sand. You want to build it on a solid foundation. So at least get organized and get yourself established. Long-term, bigger picture. The next thing is build a real work schedule. I tell people all the time, you cannot do this business if you don't have a real work schedule. Everybody who ever got started built a real work schedule. They said, these are the times in which I'm doing my business, and this is the time in which I'm not. And if you're unemployed, maybe your schedule is, I'm doing it all the time right now. But whatever it looks like, you got to have a real work schedule. Be consistent. The consistency is what's going to pay you. You're not going to get paid if you're not consistent, period. So I can tell you right now, you're not going to make any money if you're not consistent. If you're not consistently sourcing and listing, because your listing is what's going to help you make money. People cannot buy what they cannot see. So if they can't see it, they can't buy it. So be consistent about what you're doing in your operations. Next, get focused. There's going to be a boatload of shiny objects. And if you built a real work schedule, you're going to focus on, if you're going to mess around with shiny objects, do that not during the time you designated to work on your business. Do it some other time. So if you designated to work on your business, let's say you're unemployed right now, and you're going to work in your business from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every single day. Don't schedule doctor's appointments between 9 and 1. Don't schedule your dentist appointment. Don't get your car fixed between 9 and 1. Don't go to the grocery store unless you're sourcing between 9 and 1. And don't look at other shiny objects or mess around with other shiny objects between 9 and 1 if that's your work schedule. So get focused. Stay focused on your business. Don't get distracted. There's going to be a lot of shiny objects out there. And we want you to stay informed. So be patient. This is a marathon. You're not going to come out the gate making $9 million. It's just not going to happen. But you can consistently produce an income, a regular income that can pay your bills, keep your lights on, and keep water coming out of your faucet. That's what we're shooting for, okay? And then beyond that, everything else is gravy, okay? Be persistent. Perseverance is going to be the key. So consistency is the first key. The second key is perseverance, because there's going to be hiccups in the road. Depending on, it doesn't matter. Each platform has their own unique, scenarios and intricacies. So just be prepared for that. When you go to Walmart, you see people standing in line in the return section at the customer service desk. You are going to have returns. You're going to have fraudulent claims. Somebody eventually is going to try and, do a return, and it's going to be like they sent you. I have to tell you the story. Sorry, let me just tell the story. Is this a real story? My brother did e-commerce, or he still does, but he did e-commerce, and he sold a Roomba. This was, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And the person said that it was broken, so they shipped it back. So he issued them a refund. He didn't open the box. He didn't anything. And when he finally opened the box about 3 or 4 months later, inside of the box were 4 cans of vegetables. And this is a true story. So at that point, he was ready to quit the business. But the point is, first of all, he should have stayed on top of his business. But second, you have to persevere through the stupid stuff. There's going to be crazy stuff, stupid stuff that will happen with the platform, stuff that may happen with your account, stuff that may happen with your money. Just persevere through it all, okay? And you need to build a budget. When you're running a business, you need to have a budget for your business. How much money are you planning on spending on inventory? How much money are you planning on spending on supplies? What's your monthly commitment to supplies? What's your monthly commitment to inventory? All of that. So just putting it out there. So the next thing, if I can get things to work, is determine what method you're going to do e-commerce. So if you're going to do print on demand is one of the easier ways to do e-commerce, meaning it's low cost to no cost, and it's low effort to no effort. You could get started just working roughly about 3 to 5 hours a week. I recommend a minimum of 5, but you can do what you want to. So you can work with print on demand, learn about it, get started, and engage in income producing activities 3 to 5 times a week. Income producing activities. Sitting there watching training videos is not an income producing activity. We're talking about real income producing activities, okay? So if you're not engaging in those activities, you're not going to make that kind of money. Don't come back and say, Nicole, I worked 3 to 5 hours a week in my business. I didn't make any money. Were they income producing activities or were they just random activities? There's a difference. Over a period of time, you know, your income is going to increase with print on demand. It's going to be a slow ramp up. It's going to be a very slow ramp up. Because if you're only creating a few designs, maybe you're creating 20 designs a week or maybe 10 designs a week. And maybe you're limited to just doing t-shirts. If you're doing merch, you know, you got some limits there, but then you eventually, they will expand that. Maybe you're selling on multiple print on demand type of platforms. So volume is going to be your key on print on demand. Volume is your key. Number of designs, and also understanding niches, what is selling. Because once you have a design out there, very quickly in print on demand, people can jump onto your image, your design, whatever it happens to be. And that's okay. Just continue being creative. So if you have a creative spirit, print on demand is probably for you. I'm just going to say that because, you know, you like thinking of new things, you like coming up with new sayings, and print on demand might be for you. Over time, you can't automate that. You can outsource to a virtual assistant. So that is always an option. Keep that in mind. Some aspects of your business operations you can outsource. But again, it's a slow ramp up and print on demand. And after a few months, it could be 3 months, 6 months, or even 9 months, you start getting some real income rolling on a regular basis. But you always have to be churning out. Every single week, you need to be churning out. Okay, and you can hire a VA to do part of that. So the cost may go up because you're also hiring a VA. Then you have retail and online arbitrage. That includes flipping, thrifting, that includes garage selling. It includes all of that. Like all of that is some form of finding something in the store, at somebody's house, at the garage, or, you know, at some thrift store or estate sale. And then you're going to go ahead and sell it on another platform. That is retail arbitrage. So I might go to Walmart and source right now, maybe bottles of vitamin C. And then I would list them on Amazon, or I could list them back on Walmart. It just depends. But list them on a platform with a profit to make some money. So your margins are going to be a little tight sometimes. And there are times that it's not. Like if you do bundles, retail arbitrage can make you a lot of money. If you're doing higher income things, it can make a lot of money. If you're really good at stacking, and those are all strategies. Like I think Tony talked about coupon stacking, and I think maybe JR also talked about stacking, how to maximize using gift cards and coupons and rebates so that your ROI, you get the maximum ROI. So then your profit margins can be higher. But in any case, retail arbitrage can be a low cost, and I say no cost because sometimes you can get free inventory. One of the strategies I taught early on was go out to garage sales that are on Facebook Marketplace and also that are advertised on garage sale websites, and call them on the last day of their garage sale and tell them you'll come pick up their stuff for free. That is an easy way to get started. It doesn't cost you any money whatsoever. Now, right now may not be the time to go do that strategy, but I'm just letting you know after life returns to somewhat normal, that is a strategy that actually works. So, and then low cost, meaning you can buy things for $1 from the Dollar Tree and keep investing it. I actually did a spreadsheet to show how investing $25 every single week consistently for a year into inventory where you had at least a minimum profit of $4 and what those numbers could look like, what your monthly income could look like at the end of a year if you were investing money in inventory that was in the top 1% of the sales rank on Amazon. And it's ridiculous because the top 1%, those are things that are moving on a regular basis. Not 100% of it will sell. So I think the sale rate was like 75% of it. But the point is, the numbers are ridiculous. I may actually share that with the audience at some later point. But yeah, reinvest the first 3 to 6 months of your business. Don't expect to pull any money out. Just don't. And if you're going to do either one of these two strategies and you have a lot of time on your hands, then your ramp up is going to be faster. Your income return can be faster. But if you're working a full-time job and you're starting off slow and you're doing this on the side to get started and to eventually fire your boss, you're going to be doing this for a little while. It could take you over a year or 2 years. It may be a 2-year strategy doing retail arbitrage. I would increase it over time from 10 hours a week to 20 hours a week. But again, you can replace your job doing this. There's a lot of people that have quit their jobs just by doing retail arbitrage and doing it for 20 to 25 hours a week, making full-time income. It's entirely possible. Same thing with print on demand. Again, volume is going to be the key there. Okay, so then the next one is, oh, wait a minute, drop shipping, we missed it. So drop shipping, if you're doing drop shipping, there's a low to medium cost or cost and then low to medium effort. So here's what I mean by that. The low to medium cost is you're going to have to eventually pay for the item that the person has bought. Now, the great thing about drop shipping is that the customer pays you, and then you use that same money to pay for the item for the customer, and then you get to keep the difference. However, it does require, in some cases, for you to actually have some cash. Depending on if you're like, your merchant is like PayPal. If you're a new seller, PayPal is like, look, we need to make sure the item got delivered first before we're going to release your money. So just be prepared for that, that sometimes, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it, there's going to be some platforms initially that are going to make you come out of pocket first, and then you'll get your money back if you're establishing a new account. And especially if your numbers, if you already had an established PayPal account and you were only doing, I don't know, maybe $100 a month, and then all of a sudden you're up at like $5,000 a month or $8,000 a month, they want to make sure it's not fraud. So they may hold your money. So you need to be prepared to fund that. There are also, depending on who you're working with, standpoint, there's some sellers that, not sellers, but providers that may ask you to, put down a deposit if you're doing certain transactions with them. So just be prepared that you might come out of a little bit of money at the beginning, or depending on how big you get, you could come out with a lot of money and who you're doing business with. The effort could be low at the beginning because, again, it's a matter of establishing that account. There may be some red tape, there may be no red tape, but getting that all established, getting things going, having an understanding, following up on shipments, making sure they're going out on a regular basis. And then once you get that wheel turning and things are moving regularly, then it becomes low effort for you. But initially, it may be a little more involved. I recommend if you're going to do drop shipping, do about 5 to 10 hours a week as the start. Again, this is for people who are working a full-time job. If you are not working a full-time job, have at it. 20, 30, 40 hours, go do drop shipping. There's a lot of money in it. A lot of people drop ship on Shopify or create Shopify stores and do drop shipping from there. But you can drop ship from eBay. You can ironically, there's still people that drop ship from Amazon, but they have accounts. They have they're private labels, so they have accounts established. In any case, you can still, again, drop shipping is an option. You can make money. You can get paid immediately after a few days or a few weeks. I recommend always for your first 3 to 6 months, don't take any money out. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't take any money out for 9 months. Just keep reinvesting 100% of the business into the business so that you can scale. The more you do that, the faster you'll be able to scale. The faster you'll be able to streamline operations. So you can automate aspects of this. You can outsource pieces of it to a VA so that they can monitor different things for you so you can have some time freedom. I believe that's what the laptop lifestyle, dropship laptop lifestyle, that's what they do. But yeah, over time, you can outsource pieces of this after you've done the initial upfront work, research, and got everything going and getting the wheel turning, and then, go hands off. Not 100% hands off. You should always know what's happening in your business. So don't ever go 100% hands off. Next is wholesale, private label, white label, and any of the other. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just looking at my typos. So there is going to be, in most cases, a medium to high cost, because you got to come out of pocket with money. If you're going to buy inventory from a wholesale supplier, they may have some volume minimums that you have to buy. You're going to do private label, again, getting that first one created, and then you got to do draft designs of whatever the packaging looks like, your logo, all that other stuff. You're going to come out of pocket some money initially. Then it's got to get produced. Then you've got to do some marketing to get some traction to it once you get it listed. So over time, once that thing is going on its own, then you can scale back. So I'm just saying that the cost may be medium to high. If you don't have the money investment, you may want to start off with print on demand or private label. Those, sorry, not private label, print on demand or retail and online arbitrage, or even thrifting and flipping, those types of things. That may be a good start. And back to retail arbitrage for just a second. Get to know one store, get to know two stores, get to know three stores really, 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 really well, and then start gradually adding a new store every single week or every other week. Then on private label and white label and wholesale, you know, there's low to minimum effort to start. And I'm going to say it's really medium to start, but it can go back down to low effort. Again, you can automate aspects of it once it's going. It's just all the upfront work. Then once you get the upfront going, then, you know, you have to keep it going. No less than 5 to 10 hours a week. I'm going to say 10 hours. And on top of that, I'm sorry, my son put my phone on the desk and I keep taking it off. I'm going to say, you know, invest 100% of your profits into the business for the first 3 to 6 months. Again, I prefer 9 months at a minimum of anything. So keep investing in that and, you know, watching your data, watching your numbers before you do anything else. The next one after this, oops, we missed one. So we lost one. Oh, these two got flipped. Okay. So FBA and warehouse services. Warehouse services is like prep centers. So FBA is fulfilled by Amazon, and that's really a warehouse. They fill it there for you. And that's when you package up your inventory, whether you're doing private label, whether you're doing white label, whether you're doing wholesale, whether you're doing retail arbitrage, whatever you happen to be doing, you're sending your inventory into Amazon, and Amazon is shipping it out to the customers for you. That is fulfilled by Amazon or FBA. Right now, Amazon is not accepting shipments in certain categories for a period of time. So if you're not selling something in that category, then you're going to have to pivot. You can move to a prep center right now. That is completely a viable option, so that way you can continue to sell items, because just because Amazon is not shipping it out doesn't mean that customers don't want to buy it right now. Customers are looking for things to buy to keep their kids busy. They're looking for things to buy that they have to do at home. So, you know, you have people that had a whole desk full of office supplies, and now they have zero supplies at home because they were thrust into working at home for the first time. So, you know, school supplies, office supplies, activities to keep the kids busy, things that you're going to use or burn up more quickly because you're at home all the time, coffee filters, well, cleaning supplies, we already know. Medications, paper, pencil, you know, ink for your printer if you have a printer at home. There's all kinds of things. Think about what are the things that people are burning through at home right now, and you could be sourcing those things, whether you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or some other method, wholesale supplier. So be thinking about that. But anyway, you would send that stuff into Amazon. If you don't send it to Amazon, you can send it to a prep center. If you send it to a prep center right about now, then, you know, they can continue keeping you in profit or keeping you producing money, because that's the thing. Inventory in, inventory out, inventory in, inventory out. That's the cycle. Like I place my orders, inventory in, inventory prep it, send it. So you want to maybe switch to establishing an account with a warehouse. And one more tip, sorry, as I said I was going to squeeze in some COVID-19 suggestions right about now. If you pulled back a lot of your inventory, a lot of sellers do that after the fourth quarter is over. They pull back their inventory, because right now Amazon's not letting you pull back, do removals. But if you happen to have pulled back your inventory back in January or February, then throw all that stuff up, like list it as merchant fulfilled, get some boxes, you know, take the Amazon boxes that you already have in your house for shipments that you were already receiving, and use that to fulfill your use that to ship inventory out to customers. So all those toys that you may have pulled back or anything else, throw that stuff up. People are buying some of the weirdest stuff right now because they're trying to make do and keep kids busy. So throw it up, list it as merchant fulfilled, and do that. Go into your Amazon account and do merchant fulfilled. If you're not really sure, Amazon University has a video on Merchant Fulfilled. You can Google Merchant Fulfilled. There's other videos. We'll try to put you a checklist sheet together on how to switch to Merchant Fulfilled. And then once your numbers are the way they need to be, or where it shows that you're shipping on a daily basis, then you can get Seller Fulfilled Prime. I need to slow down and talk, but Seller Fulfilled Prime allows you the opportunity to get the little Prime box on your listing, get the Prime logo on your listing, and then that way people will buy exponentially faster from you because you're shipping out more. You just need to be prepared to ship though. Oh, you need to be prepared to ship very fast. So warehouse services or FBA, again, your initial cost, and I'm going to say that there is a cost because it costs more to use a prep center and it costs more to use Amazon FBA. Are the cost equivalent? You know, a prep center for some things is going to be less and FBA is going to be more. For other things, FBA may be free or less and prep center may be more. So they sort of indirectly balance each other out. If I'm going to choose one of the two, right now, I'm going to go with a prep center because you can't do anything with Amazon FBA. Amazon controls that. They make all the decisions. So long-term, bigger picture, if I were going to create a new strategy to diversify, I would move 100% to Amazon, to prep centers. I'm just saying. But you're going to have a cost with the prep center, so be prepared for that. And your effort is going to be the same as packaging all that stuff up, establishing your account with the prep center, sending it off to the prep center, and then making sure that they understand what they need to do with it if it is something that is unclear, okay? If it is not something that's unclear, and I would also engage a prep center about, you know, handling your drop shipping needs as well. So there's a lot of great prep centers out there. For this particular summit, we did a feature on two technically. My Fulfillment Team with John Bullard and Canada Prep and Fulfillment with Pauline Prince. Those two sessions are worth their weight in gold. I would go back and listen to them. And then we had a giveaway for My Fulfillment Team of $200 in services, and then $100 in service from Precision Prep. So those were great giveaways, something to look into. And then Merchant or Seller Fulfilled. Again, that's you handling the inventory. That's you dealing with it. So if this is your method of e-commerce that you want to do retail arbitrage, and you want to do Seller Fulfilled where you're going to fulfill it yourself, then you may want to do retail arbitrage and ship it off to a prep center and let them handle it so you don't have a bunch of stuff in your house. Or if you want to get the kids busy, then let them do it. But again, if you're going to launch, this is the time to do it. And here's the reason why. People are buying online. They're not going to stop. Buying online is going to become the new norm. And they say it takes 21 to 28 days to form a new habit. Well, technically, if you listen to Dr. Amen, he says it's at least 35 days or more to form a new habit. So if you're going to form a new habit, and if we're all contained for at least 28 days, buying things online, ordering online may become a new norm for people that previously had never entertained it before. And even after the coast is clear, quotation marks in the air, there will be some people that will be apprehensive about going into stores, and they will continue to order online, which means the percentages of new customers that you could have, the percentages of new buyers online, this is going to be, this is the brand new Q4 for sellers. Brand new Q4, because people are buying that have never bought before online. So that means the sales are going up exponentially. And right now there aren't enough sellers selling the essential items for Amazon to ship out fast enough. So the sellers that are selling it, they are out there fulfilling as quickly as possible, sending it into Amazon, but their stock just goes out. I listen to sellers all the time. They're talking about, we sent in 11 boxes of stuff and it was all gone in one day. Like, it's crazy right now. So my point is even after we get past this cycle, the sales will be aplenty in online selling. There is no need to worry about a saturated market. The thing you need to do is get educated, which was on slide 1, about how to correctly sell on some of these platforms and how to make money, because sales are crazy right now. And it's not going to go away. It's going to continue beyond 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months. It's going to continue. All right, so how to grow and scale your business. So the first thing you need to do is, for those of you that are affected, if you're an existing seller, you need to consider selling on multiple platforms. I'm sure you've heard that from everybody. You also need to consider doing merchant fulfilled. Merchant fulfilled, if you don't want to handle the inventory, if you don't want your house and your garage and a storage unit full of stuff, then engage or build a relationship or sign a contract or agreement with a prep center. Start with a prep center as soon as possible. But you need to sell on multiple platforms. People are ignoring the fact that you can sell like crazy on Walmart. If Amazon is not allowing you to do shipments, Walmart is implementing, or they announced it. I don't know it's up yet. I gotta look, but you might want to do your own research. They announced that they were opening up prep centers. So a prep center. They currently use Deliver. So, I mean, if you are selling, they like sellers who use Deliver. So Deliver, it's 2 R's on the end. That is a prep center service that they like. And so if you have that on your account, once you establish a Walmart account, again, people are buying like crazy, not just on Amazon, but also on Walmart. Selling on eBay. eBay has just become a new gold mine for people because Amazon said, look, we are not shipping out certain things until after April the 21st. So a lot of sellers have moved over to eBay. You have to be prepared to pivot. So make sure that you diversify. Now, if you're a brand new seller, my normal rule of thumb is to get familiar with the platform first and get familiar with a method of e-commerce first before you switch to a new method or platform. So that would typically be around anywhere from 60 to 90 days of getting familiar with that new platform and method before you move on. But at this point, you know, there's a lot of opportunity in eBay and Amazon, and those people that, eBay and Walmart, and those people that diversify and pivot fast enough are going to be able to continue to keep the lights on, keep water coming out of their faucet, and keep a roof over their head in the midst of this semi-small chaos. So Walmart, eBay, go check them out. If you haven't thought about them, consider them right now. And you can get the organic traffic. Nechole did a training on Walmart, and for those people who upgrade to the All Access Pass, she's giving away a Walmart checklist on how to create a listing and how to get it ranked free on Google. So yeah, I would do that for real. I would do that. Okay, Etsy, Shopify, selling on those platforms. Shopify is, you're going to have to create your Shopify store. If you have time to invest, go look into it. Know that you need to also be able to gather organic traffic. If you sell on Shopify, try to get some organic traffic, but also you're going to have to pay some ad spend. So just be prepared for that. Ad spend, advertising, marketing. If you don't have a lot of money, I would look at eBay. eBay is allowing 50,000 free listings. They are waiving store fees, if I remember correctly. And also look at Walmart. But Amazon is still a viable option, always, all day. They got natural organic traffic going there, and just do merchant fulfilled. Mercari, Poshmark allows you to ship your items to your customer. Facebook Marketplace, depending on where you sell on Facebook Marketplace, allows you to ship stuff to your customers. So those three are all options. Again, getting more eyeballs on your items so that you can get them out the door. Amazon Canada, UK, and Australia do not have the same guidelines and restrictions as Amazon.com. Again, Amazon Canada, UK, and Australia do not have the same guidelines and restrictions as Amazon.com, meaning they are not putting a restriction on sending things out after April 21st. They're still sending stuff out. They're not restricting which categories in which you can send stuff in. So I would go back and look at that video from Pauline Prince to see if you can establish any business with her and get that going, because you could still be making a boatload of money, and their profit margins are higher on Amazon Canada because of the exchange rate. So there you go. And Canadians, as she said, are used to paying a little bit of a higher amount. So just be prepared for that. So if you're going to scale, again, I'm starting with the initial premise that you have a full-time job. And so you're going to do this on a part-time basis. So these are things that you need to do. You want to conduct research regularly, continue to educate yourself, do some market research, product research, industry research, especially if you're doing private label. Product research is going to be extremely important. Industry research is going to be extremely important. If you're doing retail arbitrage or any type of selling, then, Keepa has some great data in it. You can do research on similar products to see what the stats, the numbers look like historically. You can do research on products that you're currently selling. See when's the most optimal time to send it in. If you're selling in the categories right now that Amazon is accepting shipments for FBA, make sure that you are not price gouging. So go look at the Keepa data so you can keep your prices level. And also indirectly, I'm not gonna say ignore the ranks right now because the rank, everything is a little bit of a skew. So if you're using any tool to do any research for you outside of Keepa, the data is a little skewed right now. So just be prepared for that. The seller ranks are not necessarily reflective of what will be happening around this time of the year. So be mindful of that. And remember that for the future as well. Know your numbers and know your data. Practice good bookkeeping and do your reconciliation. There's a lot of sellers who don't reconcile their books. They don't reconcile the data. And so, you know, when you're first starting and you're going from, I'm working a full-time job and I want to make e-commerce my big thing, but you refuse to reconcile your numbers. You don't know if you're really profitable. You just see sales coming in, you're making money, but you don't know if you're really making money because you haven't reconciled the difference between the cost and the fees, and then how much did I actually sell? What was my profit? What is my real profit? Like, did you really calculate that, or did you really reconcile that to see what it was? And then, and there are tools that you can buy. Again, when you're first starting, I'm not going to recommend go into debt between buying all of these apps and services. I'm not that person. There will be other people that will recommend starting off with those, and I'm not. I think that when you first start, because you're getting familiar, you're getting your feet wet, you need to do some of the numbers yourself. And once you're into profit on a regular basis, then you can look at, okay, I'm going to buy this software and it's going to help me do this. I'm going to buy that software and it's going to help me do that. But don't do that from jump, because you're going to be like, okay, I spent all these fees getting started on Amazon, all this monthly money, and I didn't make any money. Well, nobody told you to sign up for all those subscriptions. Don't do that to yourself. You're going to have to learn about marketing and campaigns. So once you learn about them, especially if you have a Shopify store, if you have a private label, you need to learn about Google Ads, PPC, Amazon PPC, Facebook ads. So there's different ways to get more eyeballs on your products. So if you're doing drop shipping, private label, all of those. If you're doing retail arbitrage, I always say stay in the top 1% of the rank. So then that way you are selling things that are already moving naturally. So do that. And in that way, you don't have to do anything. There are retail arbitragers that I know right now that have never spent any money on Google Ads, Amazon PPC, or Facebook ads, because they are always selling in the categories that are always moving. So they are not, they've never paid these fees. They've never paid for marketing. Outsource so you can scale. So there are things that you're doing in your business that are more cost effective for you to outsource to someone else than for you to do yourself. And that's a fact. So when you do it yourself, you think about what your hourly rate is for you to do it. So if you were a person that was making, maybe you were getting payments from Amazon of $5,000 every 2 weeks from Amazon, but because you're the bottleneck, you're slowing down, you're the one that's doing the shipping, or you're the person that's doing the this, and you're the person doing the that, doing the product research, whatever it happens to be, you're costing yourself money. So if there are things that are considered low-hanging fruit that somebody else can do, that a lower wage person can do, and you can invest your time and energy in the things that will make you more money, do that. Outsource stuff. Get another resource to do some product research for you. You don't have to do the product research. They can compile all the data, send it to you, and then from there, you can determine what you want to do next. You don't have to compile all the data. They can do that. If you're doing retail arbitrage, hire some high schoolers to come into your house and do some shipments a few times a week from your house into your prep center or to Amazon FBA. You can hire some high schoolers. They're always looking for extra change, especially as we get ready to go into the summertime. So that may be an option. It may not be an option right now. So if you got high schoolers in your house, put them to work. and then expand into alternate sourcing. So there's all kinds of ways in which you can source. Be thinking about, specialty stores that are only local to your region or where you live. Convenience stores, like we have a Buc-ee's here, and they don't have Buc-ee's everywhere. And so that's there's like snacks and stuff that they sell at Buc-ee's. that when you list it on Amazon, it goes like crazy because people that are from Texas that live in other states are buying it. If there's specific sauces, if there's specific whatever, consider looking at that and selling some of those items, those niche or specialty items on whatever platform you happen to be selling on. Look into liquidations and store closings. There's going to be, unfortunately, a lot of those. I think there's going to be an abundance of inventory over the next 6 months. There's going to be an abundance. All you have to do is just look and you'll find it. So liquidations where stores are going out of business, unfortunately, and store closings or whatever, look for those shipments. You have, so when you think about the scenario, China dealt with Q4, then they were sending shipments to people, then they had their Chinese New Year, and then right after the Chinese New Year, the manufacturing plants were shut down. So then they have all these back orders in which they're going to be fulfilling and start sending shipments over to the US. Well, what's going to happen is those shipments that are supposed to be coming over to the US, there may not be people on the docks or be available to, like, there's whole divisions of the government that are going to be either working from home or not out. And so that stuff is either going to sit there or something's going to happen with it. There's going to be companies that placed their orders back in December and January. Now that company has gone out of business. And so that inventory has got to go somewhere. It's already sitting on the US dock somewhere. So the point is, there's going to be a plethora of inventory. I don't think you're going to have an inventory problem in over the next 3 to 6 months, and maybe even 9 months. I think you're going to be fine. You just have to find it. You have to do the research. Okay, so now we have gone from you're an employee, you're starting e-commerce part-time, and now you have gone from, I'm doing this on a regular basis, I've been doing it for 6 months, 9 months, I'm getting the rhythm of it, I'm learning about the platforms, I'm learning what to do and what not to do, I'm making my mistakes along the way. You're gonna have to forgive yourself on a regular basis. So you're making your mistakes along the way. Now you're at a place where you're ready to fire your boss. So the first thing I'm gonna do is you need to determine what your income needs to be. Like, how much money do you need to make? To keep your lights on, keep water coming out of your faucet, put food on the table for your kids, to be able to buy a new pair of shoes at least twice a year, to be able to buy, a pair of pants a couple of times a year, or a shirt, whatever. The things that you need to be able to go to doctor's appointments, to be able to you need to figure out what that number is. And you need to add into that life insurance, long-term care insurance, and also health insurance for yourself and your family, if you have a family. I believe everybody should have health insurance. I just do, because you just never know what's going to happen. Cancer happens, all kinds of stuff happens. So you need to have some life insurance so people can bury you. Don't leave that burden to the people that love you, whether you're single or married. Long-term care insurance, again, you just never know what's going to happen. You can get into a car wreck while you're out there doing retail arbitrage, and now you're disabled and you have no money coming in. And health insurance. I don't know why I don't have health insurance up there, but it should be up there, big as day, health insurance. So I should fix that right now. Hold on, because it should be up there. Oops. All right, life and health. That should be there. Okay. So life and health insurance, for sure, you need that. Most people, when they think about quitting their jobs, they're not thinking about life and health insurance payments, monthly payments. They're not thinking about long-term care insurance. You need to think about those things, because if you're single, who's going to take care of you? I mean, your parents might, but they'd probably be like, look, you left my house 10 years ago, and I'd like for you to stay where you are. And then, or, you just need to figure that out. So make sure you factor those numbers in. You need to build out a budget. On page 1, I said build out a budget. That includes a business budget and a personal budget. You need to know what those numbers are. So the second one is determine your business profit requirements. You also need to figure out your business, bills. So build a budget so that you know, how much am I paying in monthly subscriptions? How much am I paying for warehouse services? How much am I paying a VA to do research? These are things you want to keep going, because again, the more people you have, the more times that you're able to replicate you, and that's what happens when you outsource. You're actually replicating you, the more work that gets done. So if you're able to replicate yourself 5 times because you've outsourced 5 different aspects of what you need done, then you exponentially can increase your income by that 5 times. Again, outsourcing can make you money, lots of money. So outsource, consider it, but you need to know what your cost is for that. So what is your business operations requirements? I don't know why that says profit, but anyway, figure out what that is. The next is build an emergency fund. I'm going to recommend at least at a minimum 6 months for a single person. I think it should be 9 months. And I think for a family, it should be at least 15 months. But again, building your income out. So what you need to do is have an exponential period of time of sales. So that sales period may be 9 to 15 months before you pull the trigger. And when I say 9 to 15 months, that's 9 to 15 months of pretty much meeting your monthly goal. So if it costs you $4,000 every single month to keep the lights on, pay for all the stuff that you pay for, and then an extra $1,000 a month to keep business operations going, then that is $5,000 that you need in profit every single month, or you need to have going. So if your business, if you're able to get $5,000 every single month, I would add to that to account for taxes. You might as well just tack another 25% on top of that just to account for taxes. So maybe you go from 5,000 to I don't know, $6,000. Let's just go up to 6 to make it easy, clean math. So $6,000 is what your number is. Every single month, $6,000. That's what you need to make. When you consistently make a minimum of $6,000 every single month during Q4 and during non-Q4, pull the trigger. Say goodbye. Adios. I'm out. Deuces. Tell them. I'm out. So when you're able to get to that place where you are consistently making the money that's required, pull the trigger, okay? The one thing that I did say about your family when you're building your emergency fund, you need to tell your family. The reason you need to tell your family is because they need to understand that, hey, that regular check that mommy has coming in on a regular basis or daddy has coming in may not be there anymore. So we're going to have to get disciplined in our monthly expenses. We're going to be a little less random and we're going to be a little more structured, and put that budget in place and get your family disciplined for that new budget, so that way it is not haphazard and you are not losing money because, well, I don't understand. I made this much money, but now I can't seem to live off of this $6,000. Well, you went out and bought $3,000 and I don't know, Gucci bags, and you bought some Nikes, and you bought, look, I'm not saying those things aren't nice. If you have a couple of months where you have some windfall, I'd throw all that money into the emergency fund if I were you. But so if you have windfall money, throw it into the emergency fund because you never know when there's going to be a drought. There are eCom sellers right now that are doing 100% FBA. All their inventory is at Amazon, and they're like, okay, so I don't have a payment coming in because no shipments are going out right now. And so if they didn't have cash reserves anywhere, they're just blinking, and they're going to have to hustle hard, loan maybe, and buy some inventory and send it to a prep center. But again, diversification is your key. So I hope I gave you some strategies. I really do hope that this is helpful to you, to help you to get out of your job. If you were wanting to get out of your job, if you have a full-time job, e-commerce is a viable solution. Using print on demand as your full-time income source is possible. You have to scale your hours. You can't start with the minimum numbers I mentioned. Same thing with retail arbitrage. You definitely have to scale your hours. And then for drop shipping, you got to find profitable items. And wholesale, private label, again, you always need to be coming up with new products, because sometimes Amazon will get on your listing or other sellers will sell similar things. So you need to be prepared to keep moving, unless you have a completely unique and quiet niche that's silently making you millions of dollars. So I hope this was a blessing to you, and we'll see you on the next session. Goodbye. Oh, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the Facebook group in the event about Fire Your Boss. So you can go there and ask the questions, and I hope this was helpful.